Hey everybody, this is RC bringing you some more trailer goodness from E3 2016. This is the Bethesda press conference here from last night. We're going to be taking a look at Dishonored 2. Now, I would normally do videos for Quake because Quake is one of my favorite games of all time, but I've already got a Quake Grade video up for that, so go check it out if you haven't already watched it. And I would do one for Prey, but Prey was basically just a CG trailer, and I don't think it really does much for me, so I'm going to be passing on that one for now, even though it looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. So Dishonored 2, besides the idea of a new Quake game, was probably the only game that they showed that really got me excited, and partly because they actually showed the gameplay. They showed a lot of what you're going to be able to do in Dishonored 2. And it looks like a really cool game. I didn't realize that the first game came out 4 years ago at this point. 4 years between sequels, man, that just seems like a long time. And it seems like nowadays that time between sequels is just getting longer and longer.
At last year's E3, we announced Dishonored 2. So tonight, here with all of you for the first time, we're going to show you the game.
So here we go. Last year, it was kind of what they did for Prey, where they just sort of showed you that, hey, Dishonored 2 is coming, but, you know, I didn't cover it then because of that. But tonight, or rather last night, they actually showed off the gameplay. The game looks great. I mean, the art style alone, it's sort of got a Bioshock type of feel to it, and I believe that has to be because, I believe this is the truth with the first game, is that the artist from the first Bioshock actually worked on the first Dishonored, hence giving it that sort of look. I don't know if he's still working on this one, but it still has that look to it.
And an exotic cast of characters. For Dishonored 2, we wanted to explore a new location, Karnaca, the jewel of the South. Our approach to world creation is very layered. Our art and design teams work together.
I've always loved the way the characters look in this game. Everything's got like a comic book feel to it.
It's based on the people living there, the work they do, the architecture, economy, the climate, even the food and songs.
So he's just explaining that the world is going to be very in-depth. All the characters are going to have, you know, relationships. I don't think it's going to be that deep. But everything in the world is pretty fleshed out, you know. Food, songs, conversations, that kind of thing. And that's great because Dishonored, the first game, was already pretty fleshed out. And just looking at the large landscapes here for the second game, you could tell that they're putting a lot of time into it.
We wanted Dishonored 2 to resemble a painting in motion, so we've given considerable thought to our lighting and the way it plays across every surface. We've created custom tools to support
the lighting is pretty nice.
Real-time narrative scenes necessary for a stealth simulation. And the same is true for our approach to audio, both in terms of atmospherics and stealth gameplay.
Looks like they have some steampunk stuff going on with these robots here.
Technology, which we call the Void Engine.
Creepy landscape, creepy tree.
In crafting spaces,
but here we find ourselves in the bar with friends.
We want the environment to feel coherent and complete, plausible. Where do these characters live and how do they get to work? Is there a viable pathway that makes sense? Where do they take their breaks or stop for lunch?
Why are these bugs drinking?
It goes further than
what are they drinking?
For Dishonored 2, we felt compelled
That's what I want answered.
to ask ourselves about the history of a given street or shop. What was there a decade before the player arrives in Karnaca? Often you can see the layers of history, watermarks on the wall from past floods, peeling posters and advertisements from years ago.
I believe what this guy's saying. I'm sure that the story team for this game really fleshed out everything to, you know, really make the world come to life. But the way that he's talking, it just sounds like he's reading off of a teleprompter.
Dishonored 2 starts and ends in Dunwall, but most of the action takes place here in Karnaca.
So Dunwall was the original city setting from the first game, if you remember correctly. And Karnaca, I guess, is just going to be this new, gigantic, large landscape that you're going to be going in and killing
On behalf
dudes
of all
in.
my teammates at Arcane and Lyon who worked so hard to bring this to you, and my dear friend Rafael Colantonio, thank you so much for all the passion you've given the game. In the first Dishonored game, you played Corvo Attano, falsely accused of killing the Empress, the woman he loved and was
So
sworn
everybody
to
remembers
protect.
Corvo,
And you
your
were blamed
main
for the
character from the
abduction
first
of their
game.
daughter, Emily Caldwin. After escaping on the night of his execution, Corvo is gifted with supernatural powers and dedicates himself to avenging the death of the Empress and restoring young Emily to the throne.
Does it
As we
sound
began to work on
complicated?
Dishonored
It is.
2, a single question haunted us. What became of Emily Caldwin? How would her experiences affect her, and what kind of ruler would she become?
So as he
We
talks here, it
envisioned
looks as
Emily
though
grown up.
Dishonored 2 is going to follow more of Emily's story here.
25
And
years of
if you remember
age.
correctly, from
And
the
then we
first
began
game,
to
Emily
imagine
was
what
the
she'd be
little
like as a
girl.
heroic figure.
And in this game, you're
As
going to have the
someone
chance to
fighting
actually
for
play
her
as
life
her.
against the forces of deceit.
And big
We
surprise,
developed a
she
vision
became
for
an
Emily
assassin
Caldwin
as
that
well.
excited us, and at E3 last year, we shared that vision with the world. Dishonored 2 is set 15 years after the first game. Emily Caldwin rules the Empire, watched over by her father, Corvo Attano.
So not only is she watching over the Empire, but she's an assassin too. She's doing double work here.
Loyal subjects, we're going through a difficult time, but today we honor my mother, the late Jessamine Caldwin. May her memory survive through the ages.
Emily,
You look tired, Father.
every year I think
So here's Corvo,
Jessamine's death
sans a
will be
mask.
easier, but it never is.
I wish Mother was still the Empress.
Look how beautiful this ballroom is, though.
You're still
It's just a quick walking scene to
Don't
establish
worry about the
some
rabble
story and some
rousers.
narrative,
You
but
won't catch the
I mean, look at the surrounding, though. This is
eventually.
People
Very
are saying
nice.
to you that these assassinations are a misguided effort to protect me.
No, someone's trying to make us look guilty by targeting your enemies.
I wish I could just run away from all this.
Sometimes you do. You think I don't know about your nights out on the rooftops? Courage. The
Uh-oh.
ceremony will be over soon.
Royal Protector and Father. I should have passed a law against that combination of titles years ago.
so it pretty much sounds like she's ruling by day, but by night, this is when her assassination
When an
side comes
otherworldly
out.
usurper seizes the throne, the fate of the Empire is left hanging in the balance. Dishonored 2 offers you the choice of playing as Empress Emily Caldwin or the Royal Protector, Corvo Attano.
So you get to
Emily
play
and
as
Corvo
both
are
characters
fully
or
voiced
pick
this
one.
time, with
I
their
think
own
it'd be cooler if the
perspectives and
story
emotional
sort of went
responses
where you're
to the
actually
events
bouncing back
transpiring
and
around them.
forth.
Whether you choose
But hey,
to
we'll see
play-
once it comes out
whoever
this
you
fall.
choose to play, you've got to flee Dunwall, your home, and travel to
Look how
Karnataka
high
in
up
order
you
to
are
unravel
here.
the threads of a conspiracy and take back what's yours.
Now this reminds me of playing like the Batman Arkham series, where you can just fly super high up into the air and land on buildings that are
Should talk
just
to the captain of that
you know
ship.
higher up than you would expect to go. But this, you don't have the ability to glide and to fly to areas. In this, you are just a single person with a few different
Dishonored
powers
is
to
known for unscripted,
get around. But
simulation-driven missions where
you know,
no
if
two
you're
players
that
ever
high
have
up,
the
it's because
same
you climbed
experience.
that.
There are many pathways to explore as you penetrate well-defended locations, numerous ways to find and eliminate nefarious targets. In crafting the missions for Dishonored 2, we've put a much greater emphasis on big, interesting themes, either from a gameplay or fictional standpoint, making each mission a wildly unique place to explore. I'll explain a little bit more about that. Today we're going to show you the Dust District, an industrial ruin ravaged by terrible storms that hit at random intervals. In the Dust District, a militant religious faction called the Overseers is at war with the Howler Gang. The leaders
Guy with
of
a
both
beard.
factions are trying to take each other down. You can side with the Overseers or the Howlers or neither. There are many ways to complete the mission.
So that's kind of cool. They're adding reputations and sides that you can pick from in this game that are probably going to affect the story down the line as you play. Absolutely love this. Taxes, 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 taxes. Absolutely love this setting,
Everything you
though.
see here is rendered in the Void Engine,
See, here's the lighting that he was
designed to
talking about.
create
Look at the fan
atmospheric
and the
and
shadows and the
exploration-rich
lighting there.
spaces.
You're in the slummy area, but now you're in this like very sunny, cool-looking area here. Still looks a little slummy, looks a little run down.
To reach our target,
But with the sun out there,
Overseer
it definitely
Burns,
gives it a
we've
different
got to
look
get
instead
past
of
the
it,
Grand
you know,
Guard
being
checkpoint,
completely
sealed
dark
off
and
by a wall of
dreary
light.
all the time.
A cruel security device reinstated by the Duke of Serkonos.
Orders from the Duke. We're losing too many people. Good soldiers blinded by that hallucinogenic powder the Howlers.
So here they're finally going to show off some of the gameplay and how you can sneak up and stealthily take out some of these guys. And they're going to show off some of the new abilities of the characters too. Now, Dishonored was a game that came out that I had no interest in, and I feel like I say that a lot on this channel, but it wasn't because the game didn't look good. It looked great. I love the art style and everything, but I am not a stealth fan in the least. I hate stealth games. I can't stand playing a level, you know, one level for like 3 or 4 hours and keep dying at the same spot because I can't figure out how to stealth around a certain area. I'm just not into that. However, Dishonored did it a lot differently. You know, you could play the game and give yourself the challenge of not getting caught or whatever, but if you were able to do a mission without killing anybody, then you actually got higher marks and you got a better ending. But I was more a fan of just like taking dudes out. That's what I liked. I like being able to sneak up on these guys and just do my thing. Just like this. Emily appears to not care as much as her father did in the first game. She is just killing fools.
Storm hits and Emily comments on it. Many of the security devices in Dishonored 2 are powered by wind, a unique feature of Karnaca. So here we're switching off the windmill to get through the wall of light. There'll be a lot
That's pretty
going on in
interesting.
this
Everything's
next fight.
powered by
Drop
wind.
Attack, guards climbing and vaulting, combat choke, and Emily using far reach to pull an explosive whale oil tank toward her from a distance.
Death from above. Oof. Right under the jaw through the head? Good God. Not very stealthy anymore, making lots of noise. So I already noticed a difference with the combat in this. I remember in the first game, if you alerted a guy... Oh, I thought she was going to throw him. Oh, right in the butt? I thought she was going to throw him over the ledge.
Let's jump forward closer.
I remember in the first game, if you made a noise, if you triggered somebody, you'd have everybody
Overseers
after
are
you,
fighting
and
the
you
Howler
had to
Gang for the
hide,
hearts and
and then there would
minds of
still
the
be
people of
characters on
Karnaca.
alert looking
What
for
happens here
you.
will influence
This one
Karnaca's
looked like she
future
just
and
like
the end
alerted a guy,
games.
and then there's a small group, and that's about it. So maybe they've made this a little bit more user friendly, and if that's the case, this might zoom to the top of my looking forward to list.
Here we're going to use Emily's mesmerize power to lull a group of overseers into a stupor, evading combat altogether. Mesmerize, they won't notice Emily.
So this is pretty weird, this mesmerize thing. You put like a weird little pod up, and the characters, including the dog there, are all quote-unquote mesmerized by this weird bug pod or whatever the hell that thing is. I don't know what it is. But you'll see here in a second that Emily seems to have inherited some of her father's weird supernatural abilities. That pod being one of them. And she's going to be doing something else here in a second as well. Look at that, pulling guards towards you to take them out.
Powers, which are new, and all of Corvo's can be fully upgraded using entirely new skill trees, giving you the ability to customize more deeply. If you're new to the Dishonored series, it's all about options and exploration, playing at your own pace.
So right there, it looked like that guy
would
would have saw her.
Pathways through each mission, and also different approaches, stealth or
If that was
combat,
me, he would have
lethal
saw
or
me, then
non-lethal,
everybody would have came and
a
killed me.
a wide array of supernatural powers that will dramatically change the experience as you
I'm really
play.
liking the way all of these buildings
We're
are
very
starting
close
to
to Vice
interact with
Overseer
each other
Burns'
too.
office
I'm watching
now.
the way she's stealthing around and jumping onto things to get around. I'm really enjoying that. Starting to remind me a lot of Deus Ex Human Revolution too, because you got to do a lot of that stealth stuff in that game. Another sequel that's supposed to be coming out this year that I'm really looking forward to, the new Deus Ex.
Byrne is giving a briefing using a projector. We're going to plant a stun mine and then link several of the overseers with Emily's domino power, so that whatever happens to one of them will happen to all of them. They share the same fate.
See, that's so crazy, isn't it? There's like so many different ways to deal with all the characters here. All at your disposal. Pretty cool.
Switching off the projector will attract Vice Overseer Burns' attention, And when the mine affects one overseer, it will affect
So they're
all
sort
of
of adding a little bit of like a Hitman feel to it. Things that you mess with in the environment are going to affect the characters.
There are many creative ways to use
Hit
Domino.
one, hit the
Now
rest.
we're going to show you Shadow Walk, another key power for Emily.
And here's a little bit of darkness for you here. Remember that game, The Darkness? There it is, right there.
Shadow Walk is useful for stealth and combat.
So she
We
is
saw it in
straight
the,
up supernatural at
announced
this
trailer that
point.
we made for the game, and
And who wants to deal with
use it in the
that?
game.
Shadow
All the
hands
power
ripping
can
you
be
apart?
upgraded in a
Ugh.
variety of ways. With Vice Overseer Byrne out of the picture, the leader of the Howlers will owe Emily a favor, and that's just one way to complete the Dust District mission. Before closing today, we want to demonstrate another signature environment from a mission called A Crack in the Slab. It's another example of the missions in Dishonored 2 and how they're built around big, interesting themes. This mission takes place in a ruined manor that's been sealed for several years. At the start, the outsider appears and explains that reality was warped inside this place after an occult event. Your supernatural powers won't work inside the manor, and even time behaves strangely, allowing you to travel back and forth between the ruined present and the past when the manor was lavish and refined.
Another great looking area. Of course, totally dismantled and
Here
disgusting.
we're in the present when the manor's in ruins.
But there's a past and present thing now going on. Like, this is apparently in her little compass instrument there. It's what the area used to look like in the past. So it used to look a lot better.
Now we've moved
But then you can
backwards,
travel
years into the past when the
to the
manor was still
past.
inhabited and guarded.
How cool is that? This is going to help you get through certain areas in a different way. Probably help you find different abilities and different items.
Looking through the lenses of the outsider's timepiece, you can see the alternate timeline. This is useful for solving puzzles.
And I
as
also
you've
like that
seen,
traveling through
but it
time
can
is
also
as
be used
easy
to
as that,
avoid or
too.
take down enemies. You can watch enemies in the alternate timeline and then step through to execute your plans.
Wow, that's crazy. So you could jump back and forth through time and then take out enemies that way. That's so crazy. I gotta say, that is a very unique approach. So wait till he's distracted, and then you sneak up on him and take him out. Now, I could see that little time compass window being a little bit annoying to use
We
because
hope
it's
you're
so
gonna
small.
love the game as much as we do.
You'd almost rather like travel and
Thank
see
you,
the
thank
whole
you.
thing, right? But
I have to once again give a shout out to my team in France. They've worked
I guess
so
you
hard,
kind of have
and
to
they are
show,
so
you know,
passionate
both
about
the
the
past
game
and
first game.
the
They're-
present at
they're
the
really
same
ready
time.
for
Because
to
if you
get it.
don't, then
Yeah,
you don't know if
guys to
something
get
in the
your
present
hands
is
on
coming
it.
after
And
you,
you don't
right?
have to wait long. All of you can leave your mark on the Empire of the Isles because Dishonored 2 will release on PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and PC November 11th, 2016.
So it's all coming out in November this year,
But
and the
before I
game
go,
looks
I've got
really
one more
promising.
thing for you. This is the worldwide launch of the Dishonored 2 gameplay trailer. You're seeing it here first. Good night.
So here we go. We're gonna end on a trailer. Not that we really need it. I mean, man, the game itself, just watching the gameplay and everything, you know, I'm pretty much sold on that already. And of course, they're gonna have the Stevie Nicks cover here. Is it obligatory? Obligatory Stevie Nicks cover? Actually, if you don't hear any music at this part, I may have to mute this so that way my upload of my video doesn't get blocked for copyright stuff. But we'll see. Yeah, this trailer's fine. Just a lot of close-up stabbings and stuff. But the gameplay stuff that they showed before this is really what sealed me. And the fact that it already looked like a lot of fun, and then they added that time-traveling part, man. These sentry bots walking around. It's pretty wild. The time ring. There was that domino effect, the domino ability playing in right there again. Whoa, 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 whoa! Shit's cracking up. This game looks way more spacey and heady than I was expecting it to be. They really dove into the spiritualness of the first game and just expanded it and made it even crazier.
Very excited about.
So that's pretty much all the gameplay stuff there. Definitely sold me on Dishonored 2. It's definitely a game I'm going to want to check out at the end of this year. But now they're going to talk about the collector's editions, if that's something that you are interested in.
Their butts off. Now, one of the things that Dishonored fans have been asking about a lot is whether or not we're going to do.
It says a lot of fans are asking about collector's editions for the game, which
we'll be doing a limited number of
not
Dishonored
me.
2 collector's editions.
I don't do collector's editions anymore. It's not really my
The
thing.
collector's edition comes with a very cool replica of Corvo's mask, as well as
Especially when you get
Emma's
items
ring
like this.
will
Like,
be available
where are you going to
through
display that
retailers
at? I
around
really
the
don't
globe,
know.
but
And I'm
supplies
sure as
are
hell
limited.
I don't need it to
We
just
saw
sit
with
in my
Fallout
closet.
4 last
I
year.
just want the
When
game.
you
Just
know
give me the
who you
game.
are, they go out
But hey, if you're
quickly.
into these
So,
masks and
if
stuff
you
like
want
that,
one,
you
I
know, go
suggest
for
that
it.
you
You know, you
pre-order
can walk around the
one
neighborhood,
before
creep
they
people
all
out.
go away. Also, if you pre-order,
But I
or
guarantee
Disney
that's probably going to be
purchase
like a
any
$200
version
collector's
of
edition,
Dishonored
maybe
2
150
for a
bucks.
limited time only,
Now, the one
you will get
thing
a
that's
free
cool though is
copy
that
of
if you do
Dishonored
pre-order the
Definitive
collector's edition, you
which
get the
includes original
original
critically acclaimed
Dishonored
game plus all of
with all the
add-on
DLC
content
and everything. So that's
remastered
pretty cool.
for the current generation
Well, thanks for
of
watching,
consoles.
everybody. Stay tuned for even more E3 trailers coming up.